Hey everyone, so welcome to my course on ordinary differential equation. This is part 2 of the lecture on mass spring systems. In first part we saw about undamped mass spring system. If you have missed that lecture, I have posted the link in the description. You can have a look. In part 2, that means in today's session we will talk about damped mass spring system. Now this is what actually happens in physical world. So now if you recall from our previous lecture, you had a spring, you had an object of mass m. This was the displacement when you attach the object of mass m to the spring, and this was our equilibrium position. And then to set the system in the motion, you pull it down by say some x unit and then release it. So then it will start oscillating. Now the previous case, that means in part 1, we assume that there is no damping in our medium. That means it will keep on oscillating infinitely many times. But then such a thing do not happen in real world. So here either you will have air friction or whatever. So if you put a dash pot over here. What do you mean by dash pot? Dash pot is something, it reduces the oscillation and it will ultimately bring it to rest. So that's what the job of a dash pot is. Okay, so now suppose you have a dash pot attached to this, and now when you do this oscillating, question is what will be the differential equation for this system. Okay, now you have a dash pot. Now what does the dash pot do? It reduces the speed of the system, or it reduces the oscillations, and ultimately it will bring it to zero. Now, so what is the damping force? So your damping force will be proportional to the velocity, right? Velocity of the object of mass m. So let me call it as x dash, because if x is the displacement of the object of mass m, then x prime represents the velocity. And if I want to remove this proportionality sign, your f is nothing but minus c into k dash. Why minus? Because it is decreasing the velocity. So this is what your damping force is. So now we have three forces on your system. In previous case there were only two forces, gravitational force and the restoring force of the spring. Now you have the third one as well. In this case, that is the damping force. And by Newton's law of motion, what you have, the sum of all the forces is nothing but equal to m into acceleration. So if I do that over here, what do we get is, by Newton's second law, mass into acceleration is sum of the forces. So that means the gravitational force, the spring force and the damping force. But then again in the equilibrium position, what do we have? We have mg is equal to ks. So therefore mg and ks goes away. So I have mx double prime equal to minus kx minus cx dash, and therefore you have mx double prime plus cx prime plus kx equal to 0. So this is how your differential equation looks like if you have a damped mass spring system. So now whenever you see a problem, mass will be given to you, damping constant will be given to you, spring constant will be given to you. You plug in the value and you solve this second order linear differential equation. Okay, now here if you try to find the auxiliary equation, it will be a second degree auxiliary equation, and you will be having three roots: real and distinct, real and repeated, and the complex roots. Now what does these roots or the solutions will represent physically? So let's see them one by one. This is what the auxiliary equation you get. Now suppose case 1, when the roots are real and distinct, that means lambda 1 and lambda 2 are distinct and they are real numbers. Now therefore, now here in this case, because of the damping, your lambda will be negative, and therefore your solution will be, this is how your solution will look like. And as your t goes to infinity, both the terms goes to 0. Why? Because the lambdas are negative. And physically this corresponds to a situation which we call as an over damping situation. Why over damping? Now in this scenario, when you try to plot the solution curve, either you get something like this, or you get max to max 1 or 2 oscillations. Hardly you get 1 or 2 oscillations. Why? Because as you can observe, there is no sine and cosine term, so you hardly get waves. That means there won't be oscillations. So when the roots are real and distinct, such a system is called as an over damped system. Okay, that means here when you try to plot the solution, you won't get the waves. So that means you do oscillation, because of the over damping, it will start immediately come to rest. Okay, so it won't keep on oscillating. You pull, you release, because of the over damping, it will immediately come to rest. So that's what this scenario represents in the physical world. Now what is the second scenario? When the roots are equal. Suppose lambda 1 equal to lambda 2 equal to lambda. So how your solution will look like? It is nothing but c1 e raised to lambda t plus c2 t e raised to lambda t. Now here also lambda is negative, and as t goes to infinity, this goes to 0. Here you have a polynomial, here you have exponential, but exponential grows very fast, so ultimately this will also goes to 0. So here also if you try to draw the curve, you will hardly get any oscillations, like something like this, or something like this. I mean, you won't get oscillations. So you can say that this case is almost similar to the first case. This situation is called as a critical damping. And when such a scenario occurs, when your discriminant is 0. What is the discriminant in this case? In this case, your discriminant will be c square minus 4mk. So if this thing is 0, then we call this as a critically damped system. Okay, and but well, this system hardly occurs in physical nature. See, because it is very difficult to tune the system so that your square of the damping constant is equal to 4mk. Okay, discriminant 0 means I have c square equal to 4mk. Either c square will be bigger or it will be less. It's very difficult to tune in such a way that both the things are equal. So this case, you can say, hardly or negligibly arrives in the physical system. You will either see overdamp or the third one, underdamped system. These are the two systems you will come across. But nevertheless, this we call as a critically damped system. Okay, now let's come to the third one, where the roots are complex roots. Roots are complex root means what? Your lambda is nothing but, say, alpha plus minus I beta. Now when you have complex roots, we have seen earlier that the general solution is nothing but it is of the form e raised to real part into x into a cos imaginary part into x plus b sine imaginary part into x. So this is how the general solution looks like. And now here you can see you have sine and cosine, and when you try to sketch the curve, it will be bounded by the exponential curve definitely, and ultimately your sine and cosine waves will ultimately come to 0. So this is called as an underdamping system. So you pull the spring and then you release that object, it will oscillate and slowly it will come down to rest. Whereas in overdamping, you pull, you release, it will immediately come to rest. Hardly there will be any oscillations. But here in the underdamped system, because of sine and cosine terms in the solution and exponential, these exponentials are the boundaries, or it bounds your sine and cosine wave, and ultimately it will come to rest. So usually you will see underdamped or the overdamped system, and here this is called underdamping system. So these are the three possible cases and its corresponding physical interpretation. Now here the problems are easy to solve. Mass will be given to you, spring constant will be given to you, damping constant will be given to you. You plug in the values, you solve the second order differential equation, you get the answer. So I hope the concept is clear. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment section. And yes, do not forget to like, share and subscribe. Thank you.